Welcome back to Explain America. This is your host, Kyle Becker. FBI Director Kash Patel is finally moving the ball forward. He is achieving some breakthroughs when it comes to reforming the FBI and getting some of our violent extremist groups under control. But before we get into the story, please like, share, and comment at Explain America. Join us. We appreciate your support for common sense journalism. FBI Director Kash Patel, he recently issued some orders to fire agents that were behind spying on nearly a dozen GOP Congress members. And that order went out and they are gone. He also disbanded a corruption unit, and that was being weaponized by Democrats to spy on their political enemies. So he is de-weaponizing the FBI. He's putting an end to the entrapment plots. By the way, has anybody seen the Patriot Front lately? And the Democratic Party, they can just complain and whine and scream about it, but Kash Patel is moving forward, and he has a new initiative that has the radical left, well, they are chilled to the bone, and they are panicking because he is going after the funding. And he sat down with Scott Bessent, who's the Treasury Secretary, to explain how if you are a left-wing billionaire, George Soros, or someone who is engaging in radical funding of extremist groups, well, you're going to be held accountable for the political violence that these groups commit.
It does not require rocket science. We are following the money. Money never lies. And that's what it's going to take to bring down this network of organized criminal thugs, gangbangers, and yes, domestic terrorists, because that's what they are. They are harming everyday citizens in every single one of our communities. And the folks you see here on the right and left, they're some of the bravest men and women we have today. They're reporting the stories live time because the mainstream media won't cover it. They're putting their lives on the line. They're standing up for the flag. The least we can do is stand up for them. So you have my thanks. I read more of your stories than I do theirs because you guys are putting out the truth. And we deserve a country where you are protected as equally as they are. We, in this FBI, will go after with the criminals with a vengeance. We will not rest until we find every single seed, money, donor, organization, and funding mechanism that we have. And I want to echo the Secretary's comments on Scott Bessent, who's allowing us to map out these networks through their financial criminal activities, which has been going on for decades. And I would like to remind the American public, they built this disease temple of corruption over decades. And in 8 short months, Mr. President, you have crippled their foundation because of your leadership here, because of the interagency, because of people like Deputy Attorney General Blanche, and because of Attorney General Pam Bondi's fearless leadership to go after criminals wherever they are. They will not be able to hide. They were able to hide and conspire with prior administrations, and we are exposing their corruption from within. And we will go to every single city in this country under Operation Summer Heat and the other operations we are doing at the FBI to bring these criminals to justice.
And we saw Antifa get labeled not just a domestic terror organization, but a foreign terrorist organization. So the jig is up for a lot of these billionaires who think they can incite violence. I think is another step that can go further, and that is to bring criminal conspiracy charges against certain billionaires who are funding prosecutors that let felons out onto the street only to recommit offenses over and over and over again, harming citizens, even resulting in their death in some cases. This is a criminal conspiracy of sorts. There is a lot of bad faith funding of radical groups in this country, and it's time to really bring the law forward, of course have due process, but investigate the funding of these groups. And you will start seeing these astroturfed and radical protests start to dissolve, start to dissipate, start to disappear. And this is the end game. This is what we want to see in America. We want to see peace, harmony, domestic tranquility. That's what we stand for at Explain America, and we hope you do too. And weigh in with your own thoughts. What do you think about FBI Director Kash Patel and the job he's been doing lately? I think he's on the right track finally. after a tumultuous 6 months in office that would challenge anyone, to be honest. But I think the FBI is moving in the right direction. Much needed reforms are being undertaken, and let us know what you think.